Okay, welcome back in. I'm now continuing my series as I'm looking at the St. Louis Blues. Last year they had a phenomenal season, but there was just a lot of really good teams in the Western Conference. They finished with 43 wins, 33 losses, and 6 overtime losses for 92 points. Their home record, they were 25-14-2, and away they were 18-19-4. So they were fantastic at home, but unfortunately they were not able to get over the 500 mark when it came to being away from their home arena. So for the Blues, that was 2 straight seasons where they would miss the playoffs. And like I said, despite having a fantastic record, Vegas got in and they were 6 points ahead of them. So despite the fact that they were roughly 10 games above 500, the West was just so strong last year that they weren't able to get back in. So for the Blues, they would get the 16th pick in this past year's draft. They would get Adam Jiricek, a defenseman out of the Czech Republic. So we'll see how he does for the Blues moving forward. We'll take a look at the roster, as always, and see who's still there and who isn't. So for this forward group, Nikita Alexandriov, the guy you can see first on the screen, he has re-signed, so he's guaranteed to come back. Sammy Blais, I believe, has left. He's not a member of the Blues. Zach Bolduc has 2 more years left to go on his entry deal. Pavel Buchnevich is coming into the last year of his contract, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of talk of will he resign, will the Blues trade him if they're not in a playoff position. Only time will tell. Zach Dean has 2 more years left to go on his contract. Kevin Hayes has been bought out, and I believe he has signed with the Pittsburgh Penguins, if I'm not mistaken. They have added Radek Faksa to the team. They have signed Dylan Holloway as well. Matthew Joseph, so I was right, along with his brother, are now members of the St. Louis Blues. Kasperi Kapanen has re-signed. He's coming back. Jordan Kyrou has 7 more years left to go on his deal. Jake Neighbors is coming back. He has a year left to go on his contract. Brandon Saad has 2 more years left to go on his deal. Braden Shen, the captain, has 4 years left to go on his contract. They have brought back Oscar Sundqvist on a $1.5 million contract over 2 seasons, so he is back in St. Louis. Rob Thomas has 7 years left to go on his contract, so he's not going anywhere anytime soon. And Alexei Torpachenko has a year left to go on his deal, and Nathan Walker has re-signed on a 2-year, $775,000 contract. So a good chunk of the team is still coming back, and they have added a couple of pieces, like I said, in the off season. Now we'll take a look at the defensive group for the Blues. Okay, so they have signed Philip Broberg. They signed both Broberg and Holloway to those restricted contracts. Unfortunately, Edmonton was not able to match, so both Broberg and Holloway are members of the Blues. Going down this list, so the other Pierre-Oliver Joseph, like I said, was brought over as well. Matt Kessel, his contract did expire, but he has signed a 2-year, $800,000 deal. Torrey Krug has 3 more years left to go on his deal. Unfortunately, the bad news for Krug is he got injured, and he will miss the entirety of this season. So I don't think we'll see him on skates unless a miracle happens and the Blues get in the playoffs and he's healed by then. But as of now, he has been ruled out for this upcoming year. Nick Leddy has 2 more years left to go on his deal. Colton Parayko has 6 years left to go on his contract. Scott Perunovich has re-signed. Marco Scandella, I believe, is not coming back. And Tyler Tucker has a year left to go on his deal. So for the most part, the Blues haven't done a whole lot of major changes. A lot of the players from last year are still coming back for this upcoming season. And then when it comes to the goaltending tandem, you have Bennington. He has 3 years left to go on his contract, and Joel Hofer has a year left to go on his deal. There are other names on this list, but I figured moving forward, I'm just going to go with the names you see on the screen. Otherwise, it's just going to get very confusing, and who knows. So for this upcoming year, as I mentioned previously, the Blues missed the playoffs for 2 straight years. I think it's going to be very close. They could sneak in. Just like Minnesota, they are a good team. They're talented. They have. I'm going to kind of like bite my tongue saying this, but I know I've been heavy on the 5-3 when it comes to Pacific and the Central. But if it is split 4-4, I can see the Blues sneaking into a wild card position. I don't think they're better than Dallas, Colorado, and because of the crazy offseason that Nashville's had, I truly believe those three teams should be better than the Blues, but I'd say the Blues are right on the level with the Jets. So if it comes down to one of those two teams, I'd be putting my money on the Blues only because they are a very good team. And it's just a shame we haven't been able to see them in the postseason for 2 straight years because when they do make it, they can make some noise. Obviously, they won it in 2019, the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, when they had the bubble in 2020, they lost in the first round to Vancouver. And in 2021, I think they lost in the first round to Colorado, and then 2022 they lost in the second round to Colorado, and obviously 23 and 24 they were not in the playoff picture at all. So I'll just say this: if the teams from the Pacific and the Central split 4-4, I can easily see the Blues making it into the postseason. But if it does happen to be 5 teams from the Pacific and only 3 from the Central, then I would say the Blues are likely looking in, or looking, are they're on the outside looking in. Alrighty, that takes care of my recap from this. Sorry, not my recap. I apologize. My preview for the St. Louis Blues for this upcoming season. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, and as always, take care.